Hey guys, welcome back to We Met at Acme. I'm so excited to be here with the one and only Stassi Schroeder. Hi.
Thank you for having me
Thank
in
you
this
for being
chic
here.
studio.
You know, what can I say? I built it from scratch just for you.
Really like it.
I love you. I've loved you forever. My friends love you.
Thank you.
You carried the entire show of Vanderpump Rules.
Thank you.
And we're still sad that you're not a part of it anymore, but you're on to bigger and better.
On to newer things.
On to newer. Before we get into anything, what is your favorite romantic gesture?
Oh, my favorite romantic gesture.
Like for someone to do for you.
I'm thinking of like what my love languages are, and I feel like quality time is like my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So a romantic gesture for me is just when like Beau is like giving me his undivided attention, no phones, just like hanging out together. That's a good enough romantic gesture for me.
I love that. And you're a Cancer, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly from my stalking.
Yes, Cancer, Capricorn rising, Scorpio moon.
Oh, I love that
I'm
chart.
not just a Cancer.
That's a really good chart. Do you know the rest or just the three?
I haven't memorized the rest because
Okay.
I don't really understand what the rest of them mean.
Right,
It's
right,
like
right.
Your Venus is what I don't know.
Yeah, I love that. Well, you have a great chart. What is Beau's sign?
He's a Pisces,
Okay, good match.
but
Good
like-
match.
I don't know his other two.
Yeah.
Because he's not into it.
Right.
This is what happened. He was at a bar one time. He was single. And he went up to a girl and was having like great conversation with her. And then she goes, "What's your sign?" And he was like, "Pisces." And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I can't talk to you anymore. I don't date Pisces." And then just like walked off.
Stop.
And so now he refuses to indulge me in all the
He's
astrology things. He's just like traumatized by it.
That's really funny. And honestly, like I kind of get her just because Pisces, when they're amazing, but it's often hard to understand them. That's all.
Huh. I guess, well, I've dated other Pisces in the
Yeah.
past that I feel that way about.
Mhm.
Beau's like super easy to understand.
And by the
I
way, I'm
think.
sure he has an amazing rest of his chart. We'll have to
It has to balance out
go
in
back
some way.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's clearly amazing. And that leads to my next question, which obviously we know the answer to, but your relationship status. So you're married.
I'm married.
and
yeah.
you have 2 kids.
2 kids.
And how did you and Beau meet? I'm sure you've told the story a million times before.
I have, but I love telling it. So Kristen and Katie, who were on Vanderpump Rules, every time I was going through a breakup, they were trying to set me up with him. And they're like, "We think you would really like this guy. We think you would like this guy." And then finally, after like my final like breakup and, you know, I was having time alone, they took it seriously and showed me his Instagram. And I was like, okay, he's like the opposite of everything I normally date. He's like all tatted up, but like he wears overalls, like, you know, just like kind of quirky. I like, dare I say, like mildly hipster, you know, hipster adjacent, but he doesn't like, he would never call himself hipster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but he's really handsome. So I'm like, maybe. And they're like, he's so funny. Then they showed him my Instagram and he was like, no. He was like, no. Right?
But they
'Cause
had
I'm like,
already come
what
to
do
you
you-
with the setup?
It's like they knew that
Yeah.
he was just like saying no to say no or whatever.
Right, just because he was intimidated by whatever it was.
Eventually, like after we got married, or well, not like that far back, but like eventually he told me, he was like, I just didn't think that you would be interested in me. So it's just like, it's not going to work. But still, I was told that he was just like, no. And then I met him at a party that like Kristen was hosting, and I talked to him, and then we like went out the next night and like just like shut the place down just talking, and I won him over with just, you know, my sparkling personality and like that was it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what was the transition like for you, because you were coming out of these like toxic relationships with
Yeah.
these people who were not in any way stable,
Yeah.
and now you're dating someone, you know, like in that moment, right, who seems normal and great. Did any part of you miss like the up and down? Like how did you kind of adjust to, okay, it should feel like this is actually what it is?
Well, I think people have seen on TV that when he was like on it with me, I was still acting out in a way, you know, dark passengering or like freaking out on him because of what I was used to in my past relationships. Like I was so like I didn't trust anyone. And I was paranoid and jealous and all these things because I was used to being cheated on, and
Right.
sometimes with my friends and
Yeah.
situations like that. And so I was constantly instigating fights and arguments, and it took a while. Like, even in the beginning of our relationship, he was like, we should go to couples therapy because you're acting out and I've given you no reason
Right.
to not trust me. I've given you no reason. Like, it's literally just because of your past relationships. And we went to couples therapy early on, and that really just like did the trick, because I fully recognized that just because people have done things to me in the past doesn't mean that everyone's going to.
Right. But how did you get rid of that dark passenger? Because I think a lot of people have that. And like, especially, women who, to them, like in their mind still, it's kind of fun to have this like, let me self-sabotage moment, like how do you get rid of it?
Yeah. It's actually like kind of not fun to self-sabotage. I
Right.
recognized that I made an effort. Like, one of the things that we learned in therapy was, because I would get upset if I wanted to go home early, which was always like at
Mhm.
night, and he likes to stay out and socialize, and I would get upset if he didn't want to come home with me. And so our therapist was like, why don't, before you guys go to a party or go out, you decide, okay, Bo says to you, like, I think I'm going to want to stay out later tonight, so that I have it in my head already. And so I noticed that the nights that we did that, and I would just leave and be okay going by myself, I was just like so much happier and more
Mhm.
relaxed. And I had just like good alone time to just like be in my apartment by myself and be with myself. And I'm like, oh, this isn't bad at all.
Right.
And I kind of just realized that like self-sabotaging isn't fun. It's actually
Mhm.
not. Like, the more you just like let things go and the calmer you are, just like the more fun you have in life.
Right. And the more freedom you give your partner in a relationship who deserves it,
Who deserves it?
the
Yeah.
more it comes back like tenfold.
Of course.
That's a really interesting subject, because I feel like when we talk about leaving a party at different times,
Mhm.
everyone's always like, that's a red flag. That's a bad, that's a bad guy. I couldn't disagree more.
I used to think that way
Because it was
because of what
for
had
a
happened
reason,
to
right?
me. Yeah.
Totally. Like they were staying to be shady or whatever it is.
Yeah. But no, I think Bo is like, your partner is allowed to stay out later at a party and be with his friends. I don't think that's a red flag
Right.
anymore at all.
Not
Yeah.
at all. And I think it's such a green flag for your relationship that you're like, I'm excited to go home and watch my shows and like be, me while
Alone
he's
time is
happy.
the best.
It's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best.
Especially
literally.
when you have kids. You just like
Oh
really
my
learn
God.
to I appreciated alone time before I had kids.
Right.
Oh, now? Whew.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So right now you're on this book tour. Are you like enjoying the fact that you are away from the fam, or is it more like missing and you'd rather alone time, like let's say Bo taking the kids somewhere? You know what I mean?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little
Mhm.
bit of both. Like, I don't like the being so far away from them. Like,
Mhm.
it almost feels claustrophobic. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That like I can't get to them.
Mhm.
So like I feel like I'm in like somewhat of like a cage.
Yes.
So like there's that feeling to it. But I am enjoying, like, at night I'm taking my makeup off and leisurely getting into my bed, and I don't have to have a baby monitor next to me. So like
right.
there is that part of it that I'm able to enjoy.
Totally. When you became a mom, do you feel like you were the first of your friends, like the last of your friends, like kind of at the same time?
I was, well, technically I was the first, but
Mhm.
then they all like, it was COVID. Everyone was like, let's get pregnant.
Yeah.
So it all happened pretty quickly.
How did you feel that you changed, if you changed at all? Because a lot of women don't feel that they, change after they have a baby.
Really?
I don't know those women.
Yeah, like, who's saying that?
I don't know those women at
says
all.
that?
I'd like to know those women.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's actually impossible. You can try to be who you were before. You can do everything to try and maintain who you were before, but it's impossible. Like, it's not that your personality changes. It's just that the things you value changes, your schedule changes, your lifestyle changes, and then all of a sudden you start liking different things because of how your values and lifestyle has changed. And if you honestly, if like you haven't changed since becoming a mom, like you might be a murderer.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you. And I like shared recently that I'm going through kind of like the postpartum identity crisis / like career crisis. Did
Yeah.
you start thinking about like how you want to spend your time when you're not with your kids? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course. Well, like I say no to most things.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that. No is kind of my favorite word. And that's
Mhm.
something that I've learned since becoming a mom because time is so precious. And a lot of the time, if I'm not going to be with my kids, it either needs to be really fun and worth it or something that's like adding value or work,
Yeah.
you know?
That I completely agree with. And I say all the time. What about your friendships with your friends who are not parents or choose not to have kids? Have those been affected at all?
Some of them have and some of them haven't. I think it's like a case by case situation. It like some of my friends who don't have kids are better with my kids and more helpful than ones that do have kids.
Right.
But then some of my friends who have decided not to have kids, like I don't hear from them as much. It's not like a group thing.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, my friends without kids. Like,
right.
it's different now. It really is like
Person to person.
person to person.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you have a new show coming out. Will you tell us what you can tell us about it?
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad, but I can't say anything. I can't. I hate these rules. I
Yeah.
didn't make the rules.
Uh-huh.
I would tell you everything if I could,
Mhm.
but I have been instructed not to, and I'd like to not piss people off.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay, this one is just for me because I'm just so curious. Did you watch The Valley?
Oh yeah,
Like, were you obsessed?
fascinated.
Me too.
Like truly dialed in.
it was so good.
Yes.
Who was your favorite couple?
Oh well, I know all of them, so I don't feel like I can actually like say like, oh, I have a favorite couple.
Right,
when,
right,
like,
right.
I know them. I can't. It's a weird thing. The way that I describe it is like it's like when you go on Facebook to go like stalk people you went to
Yeah.
high school with, you know, to like
Uh-huh.
what are they up to right now? That's what it feels like when I watch The Valley because I
Right.
can view it as entertainment, but I feel like I'm stalking people that I know.
Uh-huh. That makes a lot of
It's
sense.
weird.
But what do you think it was that made people so dialed into it? Like for me, I felt like this was the first time you see, people who have new kids on TV and couples and like how they react to that, right?
I think I'm too in it
Yeah.
to like see it that way.
Mhm.
I think it was just more fascinating for me because I know it all,
Mhm.
you know.
Right. So you're like, I knew all of this, but to see it
But to see it and
is
just,
wild.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just like it's messy, like Vanderpump Rules. And I'm
Right.
just like, wow,
Yeah.
damn, this is what's been going on when I,
Mhm.
decided not to go to your barbecues anymore.
Yeah, yeah, totally. That's hilarious. Somebody asked this, and I hope you have advice for them. How to bounce back from an unwarranted crazy moment with your boyfriend. You don't want him to lose trust. I imagine they like went through his phone or something here.
Oh, that just takes time.
Mm-hmm.
That takes time
Mm.
and perseverance and commitment.
Mhm.
Like you gotta prove yourself. Like there's
Mhm.
like no magic trick. Like
Right.
no blowjob can fix that one. You just
Mhm.
gotta really work on it.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Let's talk about your book for a second. You can't have it all. Finally, someone said it. I mean, like, I feel like we've been getting the other message the
I
entire, like,
Our whole lives.
entirety of our lives.
Forever and ever.
You cannot have
like
it all.
women can have it all. We can do it all, but no we can't.
No.
No, we can't. And can we stop saying that because it's putting a lot of pressure on me and I want to be done with that pressure.
Right. I once heard someone saying about, having it all, that instead of having it all every day, like one thing can win.
I love that.
Like your kids are going to win today. Your career is going to win tomorrow.
I love that. It's honestly a better like way of explaining like what I write about, which is just like something's always going to suffer a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So to think that we have to operate at 100% in every category at all times is bonkers. It's wild. I really like the idea of giving that advice to people to say one thing can win
Right,
today.
like what's going to win today?
I'm going to choose like 2 things are going to win today.
Right. I think two
two's
things
a good
can win,
number.
but 4 can't win.
No. 4
right?
is
Like
never going to
like
win.
let's go over what we're talking about when we say we have it all, right?
A relationship. Job. Family, friends and family.
Right.
Social life that can go in that social life. A house or a home or whatever. What's left?
Like success in your career.
Your career, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like all of those things.
Right.
It's also what you physically look like, working out. Is your mental health okay? Like, are we all,
right.
there's just, you're supposed to just be good at everything. Cooking, balanced meals, eating the right
Being
food.
your husband's therapist.
Yes, all of it.
It's so hard. And also just adding, I think being like, forget, having it all, like being a mom on top of trying to, because I feel like before I was a mom, there were moments where I was like, I'm doing it all today, like now I'm like, oh, there's just the load that you take on is just wild.
No, it took becoming a mom for this to be born. Because before I had kids, I truly was a believer that women could have it all. Like,
right.
I didn't know any better. Like, I didn't know.
Right.
Because kids are such a huge part of what, obviously it's the best thing that ever happened to me, the loves of my life and my favorite thing I've ever done. But it's what takes away so much of your time and energy that can be devoted to other things.
Right. No, exactly. It's so true. If you can, and again, totally fine if you can't, what were your thoughts when Scandoval happened?
Oh my gosh. I'll never forget where I was.
No, literally, where were you?
Real talk. I was in my house and I was pregnant. So we were going through, like, I had to convert. I had a gorgeous closet room, an extra room that I had turned into a stunning closet. Then I got pregnant and I was like, that's going to be a nursery. So I'm like, I guess I should get rid of like half my stuff. I don't really have anywhere to put it. So we were just like cataloging like my clothes and photographing them to like sell and get rid of and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I saw it on either Instagram or TMZ and I texted my friends immediately and I was like, was this true? Is this true? I called, Taylor Strecker called me and was like, we're about to do a podcast tomorrow. We're going to have to talk about this. I'm like, no, we can't. I'm not talking about it. Like, no. She's like, it's taking over the world right now. We have to. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to have to talk about it. It was like, it was actually like shocking. It was crazy.
But were you shocked given his past?
I was shocked given who it was with.
Okay.
I wasn't shocked that there was like cheating. It was the whole Raquel of it all that was truly shocking.
Did you ever have interactions with Raquel? Like, were you guys ever
I've
close?
met her, but we've been around each other, but no. Like, we never even had each other's numbers.
Yeah. Did you, like, what was your kind of take on the whole thing? Like, were you just like, yeah, like, what goes around comes around,
Honestly, it was so long ago now that I'm like, I don't really remember what my take on it would be. Boring answer. Sorry.
No, it's totally fair. And are you like, do you still talk to him specifically?
No, we've never been friends.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
Nope.
Understood. I want to talk about co-hosting your podcast with your husband because I think that is so fun. And you guys talk about parenthood and all that stuff. How did you convince him to do that? Because I feel like, my husband, like, it would take a lot of convincing to.
Well, it was during COVID.
Right.
So that was helpful.
Very.
You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot for us to do. And I had convinced him to go on tour with me on a podcast tour before COVID.
Right.
And he had so much fun doing that he kind of like, it was easy.
Right.
It was easy. I like eased him into it already. So that was just like the perfect timing, perfect storm. Like, yeah, thank God for COVID.
Yeah.
But like, that's really how it came about.
That's great. Which one of you is like the good cop, bad cop, if there is one, with your parenting styles?
I wonder this all the time. People tell me that they think that Bo's the bad cop and that I'm the good cop. I think they might be right.
Yeah.
Yet both somehow still the favorite. So make that make sense.
It's like what did they say about like fear and love? Like, would you rather be feared or loved? But then like if you're feared, you can still be loved or
but like,
something.
I don't think that my kids even like no. Hartford's just a daddy's girl.
Right.
That's what it is. And Messer's not old enough to be like reprimanded, so he doesn't even know yet.
Right. That's true. Which one of you, if either, has more like anxiety about like them getting sick or, you know, falling down, things like that?
We're both pretty chill when it comes to that. We like parent very similarly. We worry about the same kind of things. We don't worry about the same things. We're like kind of like really in sync, but we're not worriers. We're not those overprotective parents that are like, oh no, they can't be around stairs or they can't, you know, this food fall on the floor. No, 5-second rule.
Yeah.
You know, my kids are tough.
I'm all about the 5-second rule.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. And what about your postpartum experiences? I feel like, and it just like to the outside world looked like you were like still like just working right away postpartum and like and seeming great, feeling good,
two
looking
very
good.
different experiences.
Okay.
So I was scared to get pregnant after Hartford because I felt so alone after having her. And I didn't leave the house for a really long time. I didn't feel like myself, and the thought of getting pregnant again, even though I wanted it, was just like, oh my God, like I'm gonna be stuck in the house and alone and all of the things again. And so when I did get pregnant, I like made it my mission the second time around to be as busy like as possible while still like raising a newborn. Like I was like, no, I'm gonna go back to work. I'll give myself 2 weeks and I'll start recording again, which was a huge mistake. Like I was incredibly overwhelmed and that didn't work out. So like I you know, if I ever have a third, like a happy medium somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be so extreme. Do you think that the first experience happened because it was still kind of COVID? Or do you think that, you know, or that was an inevitable situation for you just because of
I think COVID didn't help. So I would never I won't ever know.
Right.
Because my first experience postpartum was during a pandemic. So I'll never know what it's like to have like your first baby while the world is, you know, happening.
Totally. Yeah. But that's, I mean, I'm sure there's so many moms and so many that you know too who had that same first baby COVID experience.
Yeah, I guess like all the moms in Hartford's class. I should ask them about
that.
that.
How did you come up with the names for your kids? Because they're extremely unique and I love that.
Thank you. Bo actually came up with Hartford. He just woke up one morning and was like, what about Hartford? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I like it. Like it's feminine to me because of the heart in it, but then it's like kind of masculine because of the bird. Yeah. You know, so it's like a little neutral. It feels timeless even though it's weird. It doesn't feel like I'm naming my kid Apple. Like it feels which actually now that I think about it is actually kind of cute. I used to make fun of it. I kind of like it now. Yeah. But like it felt like it was a traditional name even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then Messer, so I went through a phase, well, I still kind of am, where like I was obsessed with the Medici family during the Renaissance. Oh my God. And I was watching the television show when I got pregnant with Messer, the Medicis, and back during the Renaissance in Italy, the Italian word for Mr. was Messer. So they used to say like, you know, if you said Mr. Clark, it'd be Messer Clark. And I just really liked that. So
that's really cute.
Where it's from.
I love that. That's amazing. Okay, so we're going to do these really fun rapid fire poll questions.
All right.
Let's do it. So let's do it. Okay, let me pull them up. Okay. You find out your significant other cheated in this scenario. What is worse, if they went down on someone or they had sex with them?
Oh, what are you trying to put me in a bad mood? Went down on them.
Yeah. Agreed. But if they had sex, don't you think they still did?
Honestly, equally as bad. I don't even want to talk about this. Next question.
If you're financially savvy and you found out your significant other pays the minimum on his credit card bill, is it doomed or can it work out?
Oh my gosh. It depends on how far along you are in the relationship, how old that person is, and if they can be taught.
If he won't give you his phone password after one plus year of dating? Is it no big deal, kind of sus, but whatever, or a deal breaker?
I think that's kind of sus.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of sus. A year is a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's sus. You're back living where you went to high school and you see your high school crush is on a dating app, but you panic and X him out. What do you do now? Nothing and hope he makes a move, or try to reconnect via Instagram?
Oh, reconnect via Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fate.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't respond, like, you move on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously don't stalk.
Yeah. How long do you think it takes to truly get to know someone when starting a new relationship? 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, or 9 plus?
I would say 9 plus.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes like 4 seasons, I think, at least.
I feel like I heard that in a movie recently.
I don't know.
I think I did, and I
Really?
agree with it. It does take 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Honestly, think about a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things happen.
A lot.
Different holidays.
Totally.
Birthdays.
I mean, even more than a year, I feel like it takes.
For sure. But like lots happens in a year. Like you can't tell me that like you know someone properly if you haven't even experienced Christmas with them. Like what they're like during Christmas.
I agree.
You know?
Or like putting like an overhead bag in the compartment on a plane.
Good point.
People can get crazy if it doesn't fit. Wait, how long were you and Beau together before he proposed?
I think 2 years.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When taking an important call at home, do you sit down or walk around?
I walk around.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta walk.
I go down into my bedroom and I shut the door and I just like pace.
It makes it so much better to pace. 3 dates in, he came over and was acting weird. The next day, you found out he had been to your apartment before and had hooked up with your roommate 2 months ago. Your roommate and you are close but don't love each other. Deal breaker or no big deal?
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
Just like my ego couldn't take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you date someone with the same name as you, or is that too weird?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love myself.
When working, do you work in silence or have some type of background noise going?
Oh, depends on the work. Because I'm someone in the house who likes to have like TV on so that it feels like the house is just alive even more.
Not haunted.
And well, no, I wouldn't mind that. It's just like I think I just like grew up like with the TV on always.
Right.
But if I'm writing or I'm like responding to like emails or working, like I actually have to have silence.
Yeah. Got you. Should your boyfriend come to a distant, and you know he's your boyfriend at the time, right? Come to a distant relative's funeral?
He shouldn't have to. You shouldn't ask him to.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a distant relative, like you're fine.
Right.
Like you don't need him there for support.
Sorry, the reason I disagree is because I feel like a boyfriend is a job, and like it's his job to show up for you. So he would have to like opt out, you know? But like I think the assumption is that he comes.
What do you mean?
Like I feel like
some people are really like are anti-funerals. That's actually something that Beau had said to me when we first started dating. Then as my family members passed away, he obviously came with me.
Right.
But I haven't had a distant family member pass away.
But
I wouldn't make him come.
Wait, but
I'd be like, stay home. That shit's depressing.
Yeah. But elaborate on anti-funeral. Like they're just like,
He's
it doesn't
just like, I don't
make
go
me
to
feel
them.
good. Okay.
He said, I don't go to them. I don't like, it makes him not well.
Yeah. I mean, you got to know yourself and your boundaries. Do you drive with your left knee up?
I don't think so.
Do you agree that blowjobs are a boyfriend privilege?
What does a boyfriend privilege mean?
So a boyfriend privilege is something that you only get access to as a boyfriend, not just like a hookup.
Oh, I mean, I can't say that because I've done it to not boyfriend.
But like I'm talking blowjob to completion, not just like a little bit before sex.
I'm still sticking with what I said.
Your boyfriend got laid off and purposely took some time to not job search because he was burnt out. He wanted to rest and recharge and live off his stock from his old job. Now it's been a year of not working.
Oh, a year's a long time.
And he's very slow to get a new job and job search and having a hard time getting interviews because he's very picky. He's an incredible partner and loves you in many ways, but you don't have the same work ethic or financial goals. Try to keep working on it and support him or end things.
Oh, that one's complicated. Because I don't think that everyone needs to have the same work ethic. I actually, you should kind of have some similar, I guess, financial goals, or just be on the same page with what you expect out of life.
Right.
Like that, and be okay with that. I don't think it's a reason to, like, if you have someone who is like a great partner and you loves you, supports you, like, I don't know that, like, you get rid of them because you don't have the same work ethic. But like a year is a long time.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do it.
I feel like, is this a real?
Yeah, it's a real person.
A real person. I feel like should have been having that conversation with him over the past year.
Right. It's true. I agree. If you're living with your significant other, how is bedtime most often spent? Like time in bed, both on phone scrolling, watching a show together, or pillow talk?
Neither. It's like, if we do go to bed at the same time, like the way that it is now with kids, it's like we put the kids down and we're like, okay, do we want to sit in the kitchen, have dinner and talk? Do we want to watch a show together? Or do we both need alone time?
Right.
So like we'll decide which thing we're going to do. But for the most part, like then we get in bed and it's like, no, I guess we scroll for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we scroll for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, no, pillow talk.
Not a thing.
It's been a while.
After a year.
It's been a while.
Not a thing. Your friend came to stay with you and your family at their rented vacation spot for the weekend. She said she was too stressed to do outdoor activities. It's a lake house. And wanted to go thrift shopping in town instead. She was super controlling of the vibe. She left her bed a mess and didn't strip her sheets when she left. Should you say something directly? Check in, like, how did you feel about the weekend? Let it be, or distance?
Distance.
I agree.
I'm like kind of a ghoster. When something really bothers me and I'm just like, this isn't it. I just like kind of, I put my distance.
Yep.
You know, unless like this is somebody that you really want to hold on to their friendship, then you should probably confront the issue. But there's nothing worse than traveling with someone who controls all of the things, because I need to be the one controlling all the things.
Yeah, same with me.
You know,
a guy texts and asks, the guy that you're talking to about, like, you know, because you're dating, early stages, he texts and asks you what your love languages for giving and receiving are after the second date. Weird or cute?
Those 2 dates had to have been out of this world magical for it to be cute.
Yep. It's giving like player, like, why do you know what a love language is?
Good
you know?
point.
Unless it came up on the date.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird. Red flag or no big deal for if a married man goes out late to a bar by himself on a work trip.
Oh, on a work trip. I don't know. I don't think that's weird. I think because now we have, like, if Bo were to go on a trip by himself, he gets time away to, like, you know, not have to worry about the kids. So why should he have to go shut himself in the hotel room? Like, you know, go watch, you know, whatever sports game is on at a bar.
If they're watching a sports game, I agree. It's okay.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's sus because, like, they're looking around for something or they're, like, an alcoholic. Like, why do you need to go to a bar? Do you know what I mean?
Bo loves socializing.
Yeah.
He loves, like, human interaction.
If you're craving human interaction, that's okay, I think.
I think it, like, depends on the person.
Yeah. No, I agree. You hinted extremely hard and many times that you wanted to go to a concert, and your long-term boyfriend didn't even look into getting tickets. Big deal or no big deal?
Yeah, big deal. Fuck him.
But, like, tell him. Communicate.
I thought you just said that
she
did.
hinted.
Oh.
It's very different.
Yeah, no, I don't hint.
No.
I know. And I
You
tell
send
Bo
a
what
link.
I want for Christmas.
Send a link.
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
Send a link. Be like, can't wait to be surprised.
The only way to get what you want is to tell people what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big send a link, gal. Can a temporary breakup ever actually help? For example, one person's in a bad place, they lost their job, and self-esteem is causing unhealthy behavior, but they're committed to working on themselves.
It's never worked for me.
Same. When you tell your friend something that your significant other did that annoyed you, do you feel like it makes them judge the relationship and think poorly of him?
It depends on the friend. I normally don't do that.
Right.
Like, not too much. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, last one. You got a text from a girl letting you know that the guy you've been dating for 6 months is married with a child.
Sucks.
She doesn't want to contact his wife. Should you confront him, stop responding to him and ghost, or try to contact his wife and let her know?
Oh my God.
I'm like, depends how bored you are.
Oh my God. Ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost.
If I had nothing going
They have
on,
a kid.
if I had nothing going on, I'd contact the wife.
No.
It was just like,
They have a kid.
exactly.
I don't want to. I'm not breaking families.
I don't know.
Like,
Girl code though.
yeah, family
Okay,
code.
but here's how I think about it. Would you want to know?
I would know.
Right.
I would.
But
I
if
would
for
feel it.
some reason you
I would
didn't,
have a feeling.
would you want this girl to come and tell you?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm like, if I would want to know, I'm telling the wife.
I would want to know. Yeah. But like, how do you not know?
I know.
I always knew. That's
Yeah.
why I was so psycho. I always knew I was being cheated on. I could just
Totally.
never just prove it in the
Right.
in the moment.
And you just get gaslit,
You know?
like up the
Yeah.
wazoo.
It's like you
Uh-huh.
know.
You know.
Yeah.
If you think, you know.
Yeah. 100%.
Totally. I love that. This has been so much fun. Can you
Thank
leave us
you.
with a quote or piece of advice, maybe something from the book that we can take with us?
Oh my gosh. Can we narrow it down?
Just
That was a lot of
honestly, like
pressure.
anything that you maybe like something you say to the kids, or just something that like someone's shared with you.
Okay, you know what I'll say? One of my favorite things that I wrote about in this book actually is about girl failures. And we're always just like scared of failing. Obviously, failing isn't fun, but like I think it's like the best once you get over the hurt of it, because it's the only way to actually, like, you can literally be anything you want to be. You could be the person who you want to be, find a, move to a new place, get a new job. Like there's so much room for opportunity, because when you're like really successful, or when you're like things are great, you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to like change anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've like kind of failed, it's like, well, what do I have to lose? I can grow and be the person I wanted to be.
Right.
And I think there's just like always room for opportunity when you fail.
I love that. You have to like hit a rock bottom to soar to new heights.
Really? Because otherwise you're just going to stay doing the same shit.
Yeah, it's true. Awesome. Where can everyone find you and read the book, and just stay tuned to all your new upcoming projects that we can't speak about?
Yeah, you can buy, you can buy the book pretty much anywhere you can buy books. You can't have it all. I have a podcast as well. It's just Stassi, and you can find me on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.